everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. You're listening to The Divine Feminine, and I'm your host, Alyssa. Now, before we get into this topic, I just want to say, how's everyone been? I hope that you've all been doing well. I've just been living life, learning, trying to collect things that I can bring back onto this channel and the pod to talk about. So yeah, let's get into today's topic. Right, let's not waste any time. So I have my iPad as normal, and we are going to be discussing, sorry if I'm kind of whispering as well, it is because it's it's just kind of late and I'm in my apartment. And sometimes I just feel like the walls are thin, but honestly, it's so quiet. I don't think anyone can hear me. Also, who cares? Okay, it's not like I'm screaming or anything. I literally have a microphone. So, yeah. Okay, what the heck is divine feminine energy? I did some research myself because it just piqued my interest to know. What exactly does it mean? I've been studying it, and if you're on the internet like I am, I'm sure you have heard of divine feminine energy, and you probably wonder, what the heck is this? Is it some woo-woo term? Are people just, using this to get views? Like, what the heck is this, So that is what we are going to be talking about today. I'm also going to be looking at my notes here, so just excuse me while I do that. All right. So why is everyone suddenly so obsessed with the divine femininity? Let's just talk about my story and how it interested me. So I started being interested in it, for real. I would say around college time. I know I kind of touched on this before. I didn't really know how to be feminine. I just knew how to not be feminine because fun story, I used to be, as a kid, traditionally, stereotypically girly. For a lot of girls, it's like adolescence in public school that there's a shift of girly is cool to girly is not cool anymore. I just recall feeling so embarrassed to be associated with anything girly. I used to love bows, sparkly, all the things, glitter, monogram, you name it. I went through that, and then I just went opposite. And it's going to touch on what we're talking about today. If you're listening, woman, guy, whoever you are, did you feel a shift in your childhood, be it your childhood, anything at all, where you just altered something because society frowned upon it? Leave a comment below. And what was that thing or personality trait that you feel you've lost touch with because of it? I would like to know. Moving on. So let's move on to the origins of the divine feminine. And what the heck? Where did it start? How did it start? Okay. I want to talk about, because when I first looked this up, the very first thing that came up was the mythological and feminine prehistoric nature of the feminine. And so I will read a few notes from here. So it says that the worship of the feminine started in prehistoric ancient cultures. So we have the female, that was your female gods and goddesses. Athena, Aphrodite. I'm thinking Greek, but there were other there were other goddesses outside of Greek. Ushun is a goddess in Africa. This goddess worship began in the prehistoric times, before BC, right? We're talking BC days. So this is before religion in a sense, and people thought there were gods or goddesses, and they symbolized the significance or elements in nature. for instance, Mother Nature. I don't know the name of what that was back then, but like that is how it formulated, right? So this is how we got our female part of the goddess and gods of prehistoric times. I hope that made a little bit of sense. I'm not going to go too in-depth just because I didn't write like too much in-depth notes on that, but I thought it would be interesting to segue into the connection of this, because when we look at modern culture, okay, because modern culture is pretty different. We're not seeing like goddesses or goddess worship in the mainstream, at least, right? We're not seeing that. It is known to be a society of patriarchy, which is male-led, male-dominated, not necessarily in quantity, but definitely in prominence of laws and jobs and things that really make an impact on the lives of all of us, right? So I hope that made sense. So I'm looking at some of these notes here that we came back to as a society when feminism erupted, right? Like 5-8 years ago. And this is why I feel like history repeats itself, because maybe half a century ago, where women wanted their power back and a say back in the rules and the laws and, you know, jobs being created, etc., and like just equal treatment. So bear with me here. We're getting somewhere. So the feminine essentially was lost and not even thought of after it shifted to a patriarchal society. Masculine figures were pretty much it, especially when we go to like Anno Domini, in the year of our Lord, of most common religion, Christianity, Jesus Christ. Again, another male figure. And I'm not saying that that was inherently like hurtful to women or wrong or anything like that. What I'm saying is I'm laying out the groundwork so you can see that up until recently, men were at the center of everything. That's just my interpretation. If you have a different interpretation, that is amazing. I would challenge you to share some of your thoughts with me. But so yes, the prehistoric goddesses suggested that there was a female component to the masculine, and that it exists, the feminine exists in, you know, our world among us. So when we get to feminism basically revamped the idea of the patriarchy, to suggest that we, or women, are just as important in the pivotal things as men are. And that did occur, as you see with the movement of, like, you know, no names are coming to mind actually, but you know, we've all seen those movements of equality, and some of it, in my opinion, is completely like centered around like male domination. I don't know. So yeah, that is when the feminine was kind of brought back into the spotlight. The idea that patriarchal and masculine worship structure all have grown accustomed to that another component, the feminine, exists. And so the common misconception about what most assume about that movement is that, oh, this is just for women. This is just for women. Embracing the feminine is just for women. It's only about the physical, looking girly, which, again, remember, it goes back to when I said that I was criticized for my girly traits, which in itself is a constructed image, in my opinion, of what a woman is to be, which could be even more controversial of a thought when we get into looks, because we all look different, ethnic backgrounds, that sort of thing. That image of femininity in itself is a constructed image. So again, that's a misconception. Another misconception about femininity is that it is formed often by the patriarchy and what they want to see. Oh wait, I'm sorry. That was what I was connecting. So I wrote that the misconception about looking girly and the appearance of looking girly is feminine, because this is just a formation of the patriarchy and what they want to see. It's completely wrong, a product of social conditioning. And then another misconception is that it is lesser important or not useful, that it is weak, passive, or giving up. So all misconceptions of the feminine. So who's this for? Although commonly associated to just be a woman concept, like, because when you hear the divine feminine, you automatically think of like women in milkmaid dresses and trad wives, but this is a misconception. This complementary energy is said to exist in all beings. So both men and women can actually harness this energy and utilize it, whether you're consciously aware of it or not. So what does it mean, right? What does the divine feminine even mean? It hints at the balance of energy like sun and moon, yin and yang. Feminine equals receiving or hidden, and then masculine's like producing, doing, or visible, or chasing, pursuing. No one is just feminine or masculine, okay? There is an association of femininity to be coincided with fertility. Fertility is rebirth of something not previously existing. It's not just like biological fertility of having kids. Yes, that's one facet of fertility in the realm of femininity, but it is not the only existence of where fertility is to be used in this, in this video that we're talking about femininity. So we know that now we know that femininity is not just a woman thing, it's in everybody, okay? Although the marketing of many people's idea of this, I'm not saying it's wrong, it's not necessarily wrong. It is a construct, something birthed. How can the divine energy be expressed? So I wrote down through creativity. This fluid, receptive energy is expressed through our creations. So I challenge you, man, woman, whoever, to use your creativity and to lean into it. So if you want to kind of connect with it, that is the best way to do it. Get creative. And if you have a job that doesn't allow you to be creative, you can do something that does make you feel creative. If that is jogging or painting or biking or running, I said that. Any of those things, baking, making content, go ahead and lean into that, because that's going to be a gateway to the divine energy, the divine feminine, which everyone has access to. I know I keep reiterating that, but it's just so important that we see that. Okay? Another way that it can be expressed is through grounding and intuition. Grounding really gives us the opportunity to really center ourselves and receive the yummy benefits of the here and now. And I struggle so bad with the here and now. So writing this down for me was eye-opening and a gentle reminder to recenter, connect to the here and now, to maintain that inner divine feminine energy and harness it for good. Meditating, praying, reflecting, we can become more in tune with the language of the body through these activities, and becoming more in tune with that allows us to come back home. Intuition and wisdom is received here, and I'm not saying that because I want to be very gentle and careful with how I word this. I'm not saying that if you are praying and you hear like God speak back to you, that's your wisdom. Through religion, that would, by those definitions, under that context be God speaking to you. But I'm saying that intuition and wisdom is reached here in the here and now, the grounding, right? That is how the divine energy can be expressed, can be met, can be experienced. Honoring the body and allowing emotions to come up as they do so they can be felt and pass through. And that is why, for me, I'm so grateful that as I get older, I'm allowing myself to express my emotions. Even, there's a lot of stoicism, even though people might frown upon anger or frown upon sadness or frown upon worrying. If there's something that I need to express, I'm going to let myself express it and feel it, because I know that if I keep it inside, my creativity will stifle. I will feel stuck, and the body will start to manifest that stuck energy too. So, which can be, I would say, shown as like illnesses, not all the time, but just like, it's a possibility. So that's something I always try to be mindful of. Since it's the unseen and not the visible, it's not what we look like, right? It's not what we wear, it's not where we work. It can be shown through cultivating ourselves from within, the unseen, embracing our inner receiving state. Okay? All right. So, that was pretty much my take on what the heck is divine feminine energy. So we now know that, although claimed publicly by women and cultivated through brand identity and image, it is accessible to absolutely anyone. It's a complementary energy that we all have access to. Okay? It's the balance of energy, like the sun and the moon, like yin and yang. It's fertility, not just productive, but like something of creation, of something not yet existed, but then created, birthed, if you will. Just, if you want to express it, be creative, be fun. And don't forget that you are free when you're connecting to your inner self. We are truly free there. Okay? I hope this lighting is okay. I didn't feel like turning on this bright ring light. It is so bright and it gives me a headache every time I film. So I'm just like, this organic setup is much more calm to me, and it feels much more safe to me. And I don't feel like I'm sweating to film a video at night. So yeah. So what I hope that everyone can take from this video is to embrace the emotions so that they don't get stuck, and just know that intuition and wisdom are received in the here and now present moment. So honoring the body by sitting still and centering oneself, especially after a turbulent emotional period, I find that just sitting and just like wallowing in it really helps me to just come back to self and recenter. I hope that with this episode you all have a better understanding of what the heck is a divine feminine. And that is not just a trendy buzzword, okay? And you already are this, you already possess this energy. We just coined it a name, as we often do, because names and labels help us to just kind of like sift through life. And that is a label for divine femininity. Divine feminine is just receiving and creative and flowing and expressive. So just pour into you. I challenge you today to pour into yourself, and to do that by engaging in some act of self-love and some act of relaxing and some act of being selfish. And I mean that in the best way possible. Like, it's okay to take some time off from hanging out with friends to pour into yourself or into your side hustle, whatever. It's okay to spend extra time with someone that means a lot to you, as opposed to, maybe hanging out with your friends, vice versa. Or like, it's okay to get your hair and nails done if you haven't in a while and it makes you feel good. You know what I mean? Like, pour into you at all times. And I also wanted to write to observe and note how this feels in the body after you do it. So maybe not necessarily pen and paper, note it down, but just kind of pause after you do it. Do you feel, and notice any emotions that come up after you do something nice for yourself. Do you feel happy? Feel calm? Do you feel a little excited? That's the feminine right there. I'm telling you right now. And then like you can journal what this might look like to you, what freedom, what flowing, what creative, what would your, like a lot of times what really helps me to connect is to journal. I journal about what I want my life to look like. I journal about what I want my life to look like, or any goals that I may have. And it really just helps me just be still and reflect instead of like being in go mode, which is not bad. Maybe one day I can do a video on the divine masculine, because if you are a man or woman, you definitely need to be using your masculine energy too. Okay, but it's all about balance. It is all about moderation, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, that's it. That was my research. A little extensive. It took me a couple hours on what the heck is a divine feminine energy. It's literally a term for free-flowing creativity within, and just being at one with you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share, give it a like, and if you'd like to see anything on the pod, leave it below. I don't know what episode this is. It's been a while since I've done an episode for the free feminine, but yeah, it feels good to sit back down and do one. I guess that's it. I guess that's where we sign off here. Thank you for listening. I'm your host, signing off, Alyssa, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care of yourselves. Bye.